What's up, everyone? Ladies, gentlemen, non-gendered people, it's all good. You're all welcome here. Hello. I really hope you're enjoying your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or any non-day specific day. And I just want to let you know about swearing, spoilers, and opinions that are going to be coming up in this episode. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to 250 Reasons to Stay Indoors. I'm Jordan.
I'm Keiran.
And this is the podcast where we watch the IMDB's top 250 films and we tell you whether they were worth watching or whether we didn't like them. So what are we watching this week, Kieran?
This week we are watching City of God.
Wonderful.
It came out in the year 2002 and it is number 21 on the IMDb top 250 list at the time of recording, which is when, Jordan?
Right now.
That's exactly right. Have you seen City of God before?
I have, yeah.
And excuse me, the real title of the film is Cidade de Deus, which I think is maybe a decent pronunciation. I don't really know. We'll see. But yeah.
I'm not convinced.
Cool. Okay, fine. So yeah, have you seen that film before?
Yes, you did just ask me that, and I said yes.
Okay.
Have you seen the film before?
No.
Okay, what do you think the film's going to be about?
I have heard some inklings before.
Yeah,
and I do
you've
know,
heard some inklings.
I've heard inklings, yeah. I've been listening out for the inklings, and they've been coming to me in the night, and they've been saying, City of God is a favela in Brazil. And it's like, okay, I reckon it's a film about that. Just about the goings-on of a favela in Brazil. I don't really know what... I mean, it's a favela, which is a shantytown kind of vibe.
Right.
And historically, they've not been the best places to live. So I reckon it might be something to do with like some bad things that happened in those places. I don't know, like some kind of gangs or something within the City of God. And I think it's probably Rio, but I don't really know. I don't know for sure. Just because, everything happens in Rio, it would seem. Or that's like what Western people know about Brazil. It's like, oh yeah, Rio. I know that place. That's a song by Duran Duran. I know it.
Her name is Rio.
And she dances on the sand. Yeah, that one.
That one. I've seen it before, but it was quite a while ago. I can barely remember any of it. I think I can just sort of remember a few flashes, but I think I liked it.
Okay, all right. So looking forward to seeing it again?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's go watch it again then.
Okay. And we're back with a couple of fast thoughts, but first with a guest. This is Shav. Can I call you Shav?
You can call me Shav.
This is Shav. This is Kieran's friend. Kieran, do you want to introduce Shav?
Yeah, so Shav, a.k.a. Jeremy, a.k.a. Jez, a.k.a. Any other nicknames that you can think of?
Jay, sometimes.
J. Well, I was going to say J Master General, but then we all know that's Jordan.
That's my name.
Sorry. Okay, sorry to intrude on your turf, on your nickname turf. Yeah, Jeremy is a freelance musician in London. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Cool. Plays... percussion and cavaquinho, is that right?
That is right.
Very well. And Jeremy and I also play in a same band, in a samba band called Rhythms of the City. And it's a fun time. And I brought him onto the show because he's very opinionated. I think he's funny. He knows how to piss people off. So this is probably going to work quite nicely.
Okay. This is your turn to get your own back on me then, essentially.
Well, yeah, because you keep bringing people on who actually know films.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You've just insulted so many people in one sentence, including your own guest.
Yeah, but you knew this, Shav, when you were getting into this. You were but I don't know anything about films, and I was like, exactly.
I don't know that much about films,
so this is fine.
Okay.
This is totally fine.
It's fine.
So when you and Kiara, for instance, were nutting off of references to comics and shit, and I'm like, I just don't know what you're talking about, then we can equally not know things.
Okay.
So whereas you can be just putting things out in the dark, and now there's going to be two people I don't know what you're talking about, making you look like the weirdo.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for.
And ultimately making for a brilliant podcast experience.
Yeah. This is going to be great.
Okay.
Just to have another person laughing in the background. Thanks for laughing, by the way, Shav, throughout this whole time. I really appreciate it.
I was trying to contain my laughter.
Okay.
So fast forwards then, yeah?
Yeah, let's
Guns.
do some fast forwards. Favela.
Rio?
Yes. By the way, do you know what we're doing?
I don't know what you're doing. Sorry.
So this is basically things that
came up in the
Yeah,
film.
like the first things that pop to your head. You know, that sort of the word association.
Okay,
kind of game,
cool,
Like you've
yeah.
got to try and think of things as quickly as you can.
Right, so we already have favela, Rio, what else? Guns, did you say?
Yeah, gangs,
Shooting people for the fun of it.
shorts.
Shorts?
Yeah, everyone's wearing shorts. It's hot.
Cocaine.
Fuck, I was going to say drugs.
Weed.
Fuck, I was going to say weed. Junkies.
Street parties.
Child violence.
Playboys.
Runts.
I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah, we'll call it a day. It's nice that I usually explain this to the listeners, but because Shav has basically not listened to any of the shows, so...
I listened to one.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Which one was it, out of curiosity?
Jurassic Park, as
Okay,
recommended by
okay.
Kieran.
Yeah, that's good.
I
Good
do
one.
think it was a good episode as well. Yeah.
Meh.
I remember being moderately pissed for that one.
Did you hear it just go, meh? Oh, fucking hell. Well,
I've listened to one. There's a reason for that.
Wow, it's really great to have you here. I really appreciate that. Fucking hell. Driving from London to Colchester. Jesus. So, the 15-second pitch is where I try and summarize the film in 15 seconds. No less, no more. It's going to be really difficult. Okay, let's go.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
There's some guys, it's a shanty town in Brazil, and it's basically the story of how one guy wants to become the lord of the favela. It's been narrated by a guy who wants to be a photographer. He ends up being a photographer by the end of the film, and basically everyone dies.
15.61.
Yes! Fucking yes! I clearly missed out loads of details because there are so many details in this film.
I don't know. I think you got the gist of it. The main sort of concept of the film is pretty straightforward, isn't it?
I think so. Is there anything that you want to add in before we do a synopsis of the film, Jez?
No, I think that's pretty accurate.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's break it down then.
Yeah. It's a classic start and then go back to the beginning film.
So
there's like chickens being killed. You think the film's about chickens. There's like one particular chicken that's watching its friends being like killed and like eaten, like all these people eating chicken. Made me really like conscious of like just how messed up humans are sometimes, like eating meat and stuff.
Yeah, but you're not going to become vegetarian again.
I'm not.
You did become vegetarian, and then your dad started cooking barbecue, and you're like, I
Yeah,
can't
and
do
now
this.
we're back in barbecue season, so there's no chance for me now. So then the chicken like runs away, and a guy called Lil Zay. I don't know how.
Right.
How do
So
you pronounce
okay.
it?
So this is a question that I have straight out that we have to ask you.
Okay.
Shav, did you watch this in Portuguese or in English?
I started off watching it in Portuguese,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had to put on subtitles because there's just a little bit too much slang I don't understand.
Is this every time that you've watched it, or just most recently?
Most recent, I think the first time I watched it, I was in Rio, so I can't remember.
Right.
I was probably watching it with English subtitles because I was being lazy.
I'm not sure. Have we actually said so? Shav, you lived in Rio for 2
Oh yeah,
years, right?
I lived in Rio for 2.5 years. Yeah,
2.5
Jeez.
years.
So it was still around when you went?
yeah, it's still there, still exists, still a place.
Wow. Is it still somewhere that people are like, ugh?
Yeah, people are a little bit wary of it. It's like, known to be a dangerous spot. But I would have liked to have gone and seen it, but I'm very against going somewhere to see how other people live. It feels a bit like you're going to the zoo kind of thing. Like
get
I'm
that.
just going
I
to
get
someone
that.
else's house.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a weird thing. If I had a friend there, then I absolutely would have loved to have gone and seen my friends.
Mm.
But I didn't have any friends that lived there, so I couldn't get away with it.
Okay.
Went some other favelas, but not that one.
That makes sense.
That checks out.
Let me just finish off the flashback.
With the chickens.
So the chicken, yeah. So the chicken's running. Lil Zay tells all the people to chase after the chicken. And then we are introduced to the character who's the narrator, who's a photographer called Rocket.
Yeah.
And he's basically in the middle when this chicken arrives, and Lil Zay's like, yo, get the chicken. And as he goes to get the chicken, they all pull out guns, and there's police behind him, and it's sort of like a standoff. And then he's sort of like, in this place, if you run, they get you, and if you stay, they get you. And then it flashes back to the 60s.
So it's like, let me explain to you what the City of God is. The
Yeah.
whole film is like an explanation of what the City of God is and how it came to be, the people who live there, blah, 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 blah. So we're in the 60s, and you got Rocket, whose older brother is part of there's a trio called the Tender Trio.
Yeah.
Is that an accurate translation of what the Portuguese was?
Trio Tenora, I think so. I've
Yeah?
never actually used that word.
It sounds
But
like
I've got a feeling it is.
Are you, Jordan, were you about to say, yeah, it sounds like it could be a good translation, whereas we have someone who actually legit speaks Portuguese?
No,
Who would be
actually,
able to
you
tell
can
you-
fucking take the dig back. I was just going to say it sounds like an 80s soul band.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, yeah, it does sound like an 80s soul band.
Just like
Tended
following like supporting the Temptations.
Trio. Temptations was like 60s. but
Yeah,
okay.
whatever. Okay.
Or it could be the Temptations and the band is called the Tender Trio.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. The Temptations and the Tender Trio is too many T's.
Okay. So,
Tommy and the Tender Trio.
right, you've got...
Terrence and the
okay. Jordan, I'm trying to move us on here. Come
Tony
on.
the Tiger and
Stop.
the Tender Trio. They're great.
All right. Well, so,
Tintin and the
we're in the 60s, and you've got the city of God, which is the shanty town, and people who are homeless, who are like from Sao Paulo or Rio, whatever.
Yeah, they're just shipping everyone
They're
there.
just shipping everyone to the city of God and be like, you guys just fucking make do. There's like no electricity until like there's one street light that's been involved, and you got some guys who are playing football, where we are introduced to a lot of the characters. You've got Rocket, who is our narrator, and he's got a buddy. What's
His friend is so inconsequential. Do we really need to mention
no,
him?
don't need to. And so there's the Tender Trio is made up of three guys who are called Shaggy, Clipper, and Goose. Rocket and Goose are brothers. Benny and Shaggy are brothers. So and Little Dice and Benny are mates.
Yeah.
So you got Rocket, Shaggy, Clipper, and Goose, Little Dice and Benny, and there's some brothers going on there.
The people that are worth remembering out of that essentially are Benny and Little Dice.
And Rocket the narrator,
And
I guess.
Rocket the narrator.
But Little Dice and Benny are like these
But
guys.
the rest of the characters basically we don't see them after this section of the 60s story sort of thing. So it starts with he's telling like stories of different people, and he's saying like, to tell you the full story I need to give you backgrounds on these guys, but before I can do that I need to give you backgrounds on these guys. So you're basically just going through different stories to lead you up to one point.
So we go further and further back until we start going forwards again.
Yeah.
So one of the things that there was a turning point in these characters was when you've got the Tendo Trio, like this gang, they decide to go into a motel and hold up the motel, steal loads of jewelry and stuff, and then they fuck off. And little Dice, he was given a gun to kind of be a lookout and to shoot the window in case the police came. So the Tender Trio, they all piss off and they're like, where's Little Dice? So they just go back to the City of God and just go back to...
They crash into a thing and then they decide to split. One of them's like twisted their ankle, so it's like, fuck, we need to go hide. Two of them hide in the woods and another hides in someone's house. And meanwhile, do we find out then? So basically, Little Dice hadn't been caught by the police or anything. He'd shot the glass to actually to get the guys to leave, and then he'd gone in and shot all of the people in the motel.
So this is when Little Dice turns into a kid who loves killing people. He's really, really trigger happy.
Really fucked up. Like he's just like
is
laughing as he shoots all of these people.
Mental. He was absolutely mental. So he's going around killing people, and his aim is to become the overall ruler.
Very best.
He wants to be the very best. I can't be comparing Pokemon with people killing people like that.
No.
You can't be doing that.
Just trying to bring a little bit of lightheartedness into this incredibly dark film.
Gotta kill them all. So he's he's there.
The police are looking for the Tender Trio for like 3 months. We don't really see anything of Little Dice, except from like as the Tender Trio are like, well, Shaggy and his girlfriend are trying to leave, and Goose is sort of trying to get out, and Goose bumps into him and sees that he's like basically sitting there with like tons of money and looking like a bit of a baller, yeah. And he's like, Goose is sort of trying to pull rank and like, give me this money, fuck you, you're just a kid, like what are you doing? And Little Dice just kills him, just shoots him. Shaggy's trying to escape, but he gets shot by the police. I think that's pretty much it. Just sort of ends there, doesn't it? And
Clipper goes into the church, and we don't really hear anything more about him.
So we get the transition into the next phase from where we see the scene where Little Dice is shooting people, and the narrator is like, "This is when Little Dice first got like quenched his thirst for blood," and he's like, we're seeing him shooting, and he's like laughing, and then like the camera's zoomed in on his face, and he just like slowly gets older and older, and then and then we're all of a sudden we're in the 70s, and he's like shooting people.
And there's James Brown music playing,
Yeah.
and you got boogieing. Yeah, it's cool.
It made killing people look funky.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but they did it.
Jeremy, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
In the 60s, it looked to me like the City of God was like out of town, and then in the 70s, it's now in town. Am I confused? Have I got this wrong?
I mean, I'm definitely not an expert on City of God, but it would make sense that like so the geography of Rio is by the bay, by the sea is all of the rich stuff. Then as you get further away, it gets poorer and poorer. So City of God would have been dumped somewhere in the poorer area at some point and built up from there. But then also everything around it is growing as the city's growing. So it makes sense that it would be like closer to a bit more civilization.
So
But honestly, I don't know the exact area. Of
the
City of
impression
God.
I got was that over that 10 years, it had built up, and
Right.
that you saw how they were installing electricity and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. So I'm thinking maybe they just paved roads and built up some houses, and because it still kind of looked shitty, it was just a lot of concrete.
Right.
So maybe it's just the same place, but now it's just got some
Slowly
stuff.
creating infrastructure
Yeah.
there.
Right. So now they've got some telephone poles and stuff, and they've actually got proper buildings. Little Dice has transitioned to Lil Zay.
Yeah.
And
Is that how do you actually pronounce his name though? Because I was just reading the subtitles, but I never heard anything that sounded remotely like Lil Zay.
So Lil Dice is Dadinho, which is you put Inho on the end of a word, which makes it small.
Right.
Like Ronaldinho, if you're into football. And then, but when he becomes Zé, which is short for José, incidentally, in case you're interested, he becomes Zé.
What's Jose?
It's just a name, Jose.
Oh, okay.
José, yeah.
Okay.
He becomes Zé Pequena, which is like small Zé, rather than Zezinho, which doesn't roll off the tongue so well.
Because when he was saying the nickname Shaggy, Goose, and Clipper,
Yeah.
like the words used did not sound
Yeah.
anything even remotely like those words.
No,
So I don't know.
Those are literal translations of the
Right.
and
I was thinking it's
Rocky
just
is
interesting.
Pushka, which is like firecracker.
And
yeah.
Right. So now we're in the upgraded City of God, where
Yeah.
there's more infrastructure and stuff. Now you got Lil Zay, who's like wants to take over all of the drugs, like the drug lords, because he's like all the money is in the drug lords. There's no money in doing hold-ups, and there's no money in doing anything else. Where the real money's at is in the drugs. So he's like trying to. He just the way he overtakes all of the different areas, the different territories of
It's
like,
just by systematically killing every single one of them in one night with his groups.
on his 18th birthday. He's like, okay, I've come of age. Now I'm going to fucking kill everyone. Apart from one guy who is called Sonora, who's called Carrot, the only reason why Little Zay doesn't go and kill this last guy is because his buddy Benny is friends with this guy Carrot.
Yeah.
So the next thing that happens is Benny is like, I am sick of living in this place. I'm all about peace and love now. I'm actually a massive hippie, and I don't want to do any more drug dealing. I want to go to a farm in the middle of nowhere, and me and my girlfriend Angelica, we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have pigs and chickens and whatever, and I don't want any of this drugs and stuff. So Rocket starts to DJ for Benny's big leaving party, and there's not a random kid. It's like, who is the person who ends up shooting Benny? Is it Blackie?
It's Blackie.
Right. So I feel a bit. I'm not gonna lie. I feel a bit uncomfortable saying Blackie, like as the nickname, but that's the character's name.
I mean,
so.
the translation of his name was almost worse, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like what's the Portuguese for it?
Isn't he Neguinho? Isn't that his name? Which is like
It was
literally
something
small
like that,
black
yeah,
person.
literally.
So
that feels even more uncomfortable.
It's actually like it's a really normal thing there to
Okay.
call someone neg or nega. It's like a really what's the word, like friendly thing. Yeah, a really familiar thing.
Okay.
That's a really normal thing. There are other words which
Yeah.
I won't say that are like take the place of the the
Right,
stronger
yeah.
slightly dodgier territory. But
I mean, that happens,
neg or
doesn't it?
nega is very friendly thing.
In different countries where different things have different
meanings.
meanings. It's like the AOK sign. I can't remember.
what?
Yeah,
Like that
Oh,
in
okay.
certain places means like
in Brazil.
so
What does that mean in Brazil?
for people who can't see what we're doing, it's with the finger and the thumb joined together, and and the rest of your fingers up. So it's sort of like a, you know what I'm
Like
talking
diving
about.
okay symbol.
Yeah. But it means
Yeah.
like worth nothing in some places.
What does it mean in Brazil?
You know the scene with the banana?
Okay, quickly. There's a little scene where where one of the people in the '60s, one of the wives of one of the men, she's like, oh yeah, basically I don't get any good sex in the bedroom, and this other wife is like, oh, you know, you should try anal, basically, but you could start it by introducing a banana.
She was suggesting
she's
that
about
you
double penetration.
Yeah, she was suggesting you warm up the banana, and that goes on the front side, and then the
Oh damn, that's not what I thought.
the husband
No.
goes on the rear.
Sweet, you can be a lot more graphic if you want.
I was
but-
about to say, it's like on the front side of the car and to the rear of the bonnet.
By the way, this is all quite funny. Additionally, because Jordan's left a bauble up in his lounge, which is the aubergine emoji, egg or eggplant emoji, but made into a bauble.
Yeah, it's from my
It's-
girlfriend, and like she has a friendship group, and they call themselves Team Aubergine. Never really understood why, but yeah, so that's that.
Team Aubergine sounds cool as well.
Yeah.
I like how that rhymes. Let's go back to the synopsis. So just to wrap this up. So, all right. So it's Benny's leaving do. Rocket's being the DJ, and Blackie has tried to kill Little Zay, but he actually ends up accidentally killing Benny. No, actually, no, that's got nothing to
I
do
can't
with
remember what
He
Blackie.
was one of the he was a
Carrot's
dealer
dude?
and he worked his way up. He was Carrot's dealer.
Yeah.
Carrot before that was
So
what was the name of the guy? I can't remember. The guy that was there
Before
before Carrot.
Carrot.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
doesn't
I
matter,
can't
doesn't
remember.
matter.
Yeah,
But
he dies.
Yeah, so Blackie was Carrot's dealer. Then Carrot leaves and takes on a different territory. So Blackie becomes the dealer for that area.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
At which point Zepicana takes it over.
Yeah.
And then he's now working for Zepicana.
So there is still Carrot, who has a little bit of the territory,
Yeah.
and Little Zay, who wants to have all of it. They were fine because Benny was still around, but now Benny's been killed. There's nothing stopping Little Zay from getting from just fucking up Carrot. Additionally, something that happened during Benny's leaving do is that there's a guy who is the boyfriend of a girl that Little Zay fancies.
Yeah.
And Lil Zay, because he's like the big guy in town, he decides to humiliate this dude who is called
Knockout Ned.
Knockout Ned. So Knockout Ned can't really.
What a fucking awesome nickname.
Yeah, pretty good. So what's his name in Portuguese?
Can't remember.
Okay, all right, never mind.
Played by Seu Jorge though.
No way.
That's Seu Jorge, yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Who's that?
He's an amazing Brazilian singer-songwriter from Bahia.
Oh, okay.
Like soul funk kind of
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
fucking cool. And he was legit, and he was a really good actor.
thing. Yeah.
And everything. Wow. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So he decides to humiliate Knockout Ned in the party, and it just gets more and more embarrassing. But a day goes past, and Lil Zay sees Knockout Ned again with this girl that he fancies, and just is like, oh, I'm fucking sick of it, because Lil Zay was gonna go kill Carrot, but then he sees this guy with this girl he fancies, and he's like, no, I'm gonna fuck him up. So it's so grim. Basically, Lil Zay rapes this girl that he fancies, whilst Knockout Ned is there, basically being forced to watch it. And so he's sitting in he's sitting in his kitchen, Knockout Ned, being like, why on earth did Lil Zay not kill me? Like, I don't understand. Did he not kill me? Lil Zay has gone back to kill Carrot, but he's like, hold on a second, why don't I kill this guy? So he goes back to Knockout Ned's place, and Knockout Ned's like, wow, I'm gonna fuck up Lil Zay. Like, I'm a peace and love guy. I know karate. I never use it, but I'm gonna fuck up Lil Zay because he raped my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Whilst Lil Zay is there, Knockout Ned's brother goes to answer the door, and slashes Lil Zay's hand or his arm or something, and all of Lil Zay's guys shoot the fuck out of Knockout Ned's brother, kills his uncle, or is it his dad
I
or
think
something?
it's his uncle.
And Lil Zay just runs off into the night. Knockout Ned's like, all right, I need to get some vengeance on this. So he goes to Carrot, and he's like, all right, he basically joins his group,
Yeah.
so that he can get his vengeance. He says, like, it's just a personal thing between me and Lil Zay. I don't want anyone else to die, blah, 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 blah. But then he becomes more involved in the holdups because they have to buy some more guns, and to get the guns, they have to get some money and blah, 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 blah. So they have to hold up banks and stuff like this. When they hold up a bank, Knockout Ned shoots an innocent person whose son ends up shooting him at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Now, this thing between Knockout Ned and Little Zay sparks a whole war where the two gangs are fighting each other for more than a year. And the narrator, Rocket, says by a year, no one has remembered why this fight had even started in the first place. So now we end up at the point where there is the chicken again, like there was at the start of the film. The chicken is flying down, and the chicken runs away. And Rocket is tasked with the point where Lil Zay is like, hey, fucking catch that chicken. And it's just in front of Rocket. But the police show up just behind them. Rocket like scurries into an alleyway when everyone starts shooting each other because the other rival gang have also turned up too. So there's a massive shootout between Lil Zay's gang and Carrot's gang.
Knockout Ned gets shot by a little kid. Lil Zay gets in a truck to try and escape, but they end up crashing because Knockout Ned has already killed like another guy that was driving the car. So Lil Zay's like sort of passed out. Carrot gets picked up by the police, and then the police also pick up Lil Zay.
But they only arrest Carrot.
Right, yeah. They take them both into the car, and then they stop off somewhere, take Lil Zay out, and they keep Carrot in the car. And then they take Lil Zay, and basically Rocket's followed them, and he's taking pictures through like a little window. And he sees the police are basically sort of taking bribes from Lil Zay, and then say to him that he's got to give them like way more cash. So now Lil Zay's got like no gang because they've all just been basically wiped out. Loads of kids arrive, and he's like, right, kids, we're going to need to do a couple of holdups to get like my gang going again. And they're like, what gang? Fuck you. And then they kill him and they shoot him. And like the little kids like are basically the top gangsters now. Rocket's got loads of pictures to sell to the newspaper that he works for now, so he can become a photographer. I assume Carrot still stays in jail, and it pretty much ends there, right?
Yep, sounds about right. Let's get into some beefs. When the Tender Trio, going back to like what feels like ages ago in the start of the film, you've got the Tender Trio in the 60s, and they hold up the motel before we know that Little Dice or / Little Zay has killed loads of people. They steal a car, right?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you accidentally drive a car into a bar? Like, because they were
I just
saying,
assume you don't know where the brake is, or you don't know how to use the brake properly.
Like, but everyone knows. Like, for him to be able to drive that car, he would have had to suss out how the gears work, because he's not just driving around. It may have been an automatic.
Gear.
No, definitely wasn't an automatic.
No, for sure. This is the 60s, mate, and also like that was an old banger. I'm quite sure like there was definitely not an automatic.
the one that they crash into the thing.
That was a nice car.
A really
that
nice
car.
Into
the thing. They stole it from the motel.
Yeah. But it was definitely not an automatic. Though.
I don't know. Yeah, I was just kind of assuming
really sure
because it was a nice looking car. It might have been
automatic at that point.
Okay,
so he would have had to change the gears.
I'm willing to. I'll allow that.
Thank you. So he's had to change the gears, and so how on earth has he been able to change the gears without also having an understanding of what the other pedal is? He's not just sitting there going like, oh well that's used for. Well, I guess I'll just never use it. Clearly, it's like you've got acceleration. Clutch for gear changing, and then the brake. That's the only other thing it could be.
Yeah.
So why could
to be fair? Yeah. How did you get this far without?
Yeah.
He was driving pretty badly just before that, though.
Yeah.
There was like it was like hitting the curbs.
They did make a comment about you said you knew how to drive previously before they crash.
I just don't understand the panic of freaking out with the wheel and trying to find a like. If you're freaking out at the wheel, just press the brake. Like just hit the brake.
But that's only if you're used to that.
Yeah,
if you're used to the when you panic, you hit the brake. If you're used to dodgems, then when you panic, you sort of just turn the wheel as fast as you can until you go backwards.
I've definitely accidentally hit the acceleration instead of the brake before. Like when I've tried to brake.
Driving?
It's happened once, and I remember in that time you're like, I've literally lost complete control of the car. I have no idea what's going on because what I thought I was doing has had the opposite effect. Like it takes like a couple of seconds just to even understand what's going on.
That is petrifying.
I've been test driving a second-hand car before, and the brakes were so worn out.
Yeah.
That when I put my foot on the brake to stop, like nothing happened. And so I was just like, I must have pressed the wrong pedal somehow, you know, like in the split seconds.
Way.
And so I was like, no, okay, I'll try a different one. And then press the clutch, and that's even worse. I'm freewheeling towards a zebra crossing. I was like, no, that's wrong too. And then like just slam my foot as hard as I could on the brake. And right at the end of it, there's a little bit of brake left.
Oh my!
So I did stop,
my God.
and nobody died. But I was a little bit over that zebra crossing.
That is not
Jeez.
okay. Fucking hell, that's scary.
I assume you didn't buy the car.
I did not buy that car.
Oh my god, that's
I had a
petrifying.
beef with a point that came just after that. With
Can I go on one more story about brakes quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Someone that we know from uni, her mum apparently is really bad at driving or whatever, and she was wearing flip-flops when driving.
Big no.
Big no, especially at this point here. She was going down a hill, tried to brake, one of her flip-flops fell off and went behind the brake.
Oh no!
And so she was trying to brake, but it was just going against the flip-flop.
Oh my god!
And she didn't think about using the handbrake or anything to stop her going into a bush at the end of the road. So she just like rammed her car into a bush. Luckily, it wasn't like a building or like a school or something, but like yeah, like she fucked up her car a little bit.
Damn.
Just because of flip-flops. Kids
Yeah.
don't drive with flip-flops.
Don't drive in flip-flops. Just drive with no shoes if you're gonna do
Yeah,
that. You know, just
yeah.
take your flip-flops off.
Exactly. Sorry, you were about to say something.
Yeah. So when they all like split off and Shaggy goes to like that house, he opens like he's banging on the door. A lady opens it, and she sees him, and he's like, "Let me in. The police are after me."
Yeah.
And she's like, Shaggy, what, like dumbfounded. And then like her daughter, I'm assuming, is like in the background. And then Shaggy looks at her and he's like in love. And then, and then she's like, Shaggy, what's going on? He's like, let me in, the police are coming. She's like, oh shit, quick, get in. It's like, you heard him say that the first time and your reaction was like nothing. And then the second time he says it, then you're like, oh shit, we need to like get you inside. I don't understand why he had to say it twice when it was quite like, you know, the situation is quite high stress. He was like,
So what you're saying is that he said the same thing both times.
yeah, but she only reacted to it the second time, even though she definitely heard what he said.
I thought she was just kind of like, you know, the first time it's like, quick, let me in. Someone's chasing me. And she's like, oh yeah, whatever. And it's like, no, actually, the police are after me. You need to let me in now. And then she lets. I thought I was alright with that.
See, I think he said the police, like he said the exact same thing basically. I think it's a trivial beef. I'll give you that. It's a small one.
A mini beef.
Maybe he said the same thing in subtitles.
One of my other beefs was with the voodoo shit where Lil Zay gets his name.
Is that candomblé or something like that?
It was so unspecific that I'm not going to put it as any kind of religious magic or
Because
anything.
I was like, the god Eshu is a thing.
Yeah.
But which religion? Because if there were more gods to speak about, then it'd be like, okay, if Oshun's in there, then that would be candomblé to me. Because that's quite clearly, I mean, it's across the board in many different religions and many different styles of music. In fact, Oshun comes up in different places.
Yeah.
But it's a super candomblé thing. And he looked like some kind of shaman or something like that, who might be, you know, taking people into that process. And also all of the killing kids, like as it being part.
Don't.
But it's a huge part of the film.
It's a big part of the
my
film.
god!
Like as like an initiation process to become part of the gang is that you kill is that you shoot kids' feet or like you shoot their hands or something. And it's like, okay, now kill one of the kids. And like one of those kids is like literally 6 years old. And another one is like, I mean, they're all between like the little kids who end up becoming part of they're the gang at the end of the film. They're probably age ranges from like 5 to like, I'm going to say 12 maybe. And they are just like going around just killing people like it's a Tuesday. Like,
I reckon the guy that got shot in the foot, the little baby,
Yeah.
I reckon it was like 3-ish, 4-ish.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
tiny.
Yeah, literally.
It's clearly supposed to be
And
really tiny.
the acting was so on point because he looked
Yeah.
like he just could not deal with the pain, and oh my god, like
Yeah.
it was just soul crushing. I was perfectly fine up until that scene, and then I was just ruined.
because you can see adults getting killed. You're like, sure, like any amount of them. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
like I was fine up until that point.
like unfortunately, yes, I can just watch
so desensitized.
mass shootings and not really feel
Yeah,
much.
I'm down. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it doesn't faze me
I
at
mean,
all.
I wouldn't say down, but but then yeah, literally 2 children, and then one of them, and then just being told to say whether you want to be shot in the hand or the foot.
Oh my god!
Why would you ever take being shot in the? And then they did the opposite of what they asked.
Yeah. So which one?
Oh, that's the problem. The fact they did the opposite.
Yes,
Like,
you've asked them to make an impossible decision, and they've given you an answer, and then you've just completely disregarded it. Like, at least like give them like that they went through the stress of coming up with the decision and gave you an answer, and then you fucking disregard it, and then shoot one of them. I'm gonna have a fight, Kieran.
but on the acting, I was really impressed with Dadinho, little Dice, when Zé Pequeno, when he's younger. Because like all of the acting's amazing in this film.
Yeah.
That's why it's number 21 on the list. But him as like that kid, like I don't know how old he is, but it's he's just absolute psychopath.
You
can see from the start he's an absolute psychopath.
He feels like a 30-year-old man trapped in like a 6-year-old's body, doesn't he? Like the way
amazing.
He's just like cold and heartless.
Like the grin with the gun.
Yeah.
And he just he scares me. It's amazing.
That's really scary.
Yeah. The fucking split screen in the disco was literally giving me like making me feel so sick. There was like
I was
loads
really
of
enjoying
spinning
that.
and
Yeah, I thought it
shit,
was great.
and like loads of stuff going on, and I just couldn't like focus on it, and it just made me feel really ill.
Oh, okay.
There were some little bits of split screen that were amazing. I was like, they could have used this more through the film. Like the bit where what's his name? Steak runs away from Carrot's like base of operations.
Yeah.
And then they go and catch him. You see them catching him
At the same time.
At the same time, the scene continues. Then they bring him back. So it's not like he just turns up again. They're like, oh, we caught him. It's like you actually see that, and I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was really clever. I was down for it.
I mean, do we want to transit? Have you got any beefs?
I've not got any more.
The thing that I loved the most about this film is the scene where they explain the history of the apartment.
Oh yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
Because so it starts with like Rocket going in to buy some weed off this guy, and then Lil Zay comes in, and in the narration we hear it's like, oh, but it wasn't always this guy's place. And then it's like, okay, here's the history of the place. So it shows you where it starts with like this lady who used to sell drugs, and then the person she was with then takes over her operation and kicks her out, and then he gets taken over, and blah 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 blah. And like it's just going, and it's all from like this same camera angle of at the back of the room, like looking towards. It's just a square room, so it's like just the back of the room, and you can just see everything in there, and it's sort of like you're watching everything unfold. Like some of this in like sped up as well, and like people moving in and out, and you see like it slowly like go from looking like a normal house to like just a sort of rundown drug den. And then like it gets to the point where you see Rocket come in, and then Lil Zay, and then it's like, and then you're back. It's like caught you back up to where you are,
and that happens several
and then
times.
and then like we go like literally like half an hour of the film. And then we end up back in that room again, the point where Lil Zay comes in. It's like, oh, they did it again. Like, they've just completely, like, brought me back to this scene again. And this film is just so brilliant with the way that it tells stories and joining them together. Yeah.
It felt to me like this is what, like, you know how I had beef with the way that Lock, Stock and
I got
Snatch.
very big Snatch, Lock, Stock vibes from this.
Lock, Stock.
Lock, Stock.
in the way that there's so many stories like interwoven, but this one is just like a
It does it
masterpiece.
very well.
Like, I can't see how it can be done any more perfectly. Like you got flashbacks and you've got the loads of different characters, some who are inconsequential, who are not bigged up more than they needed to be, and you've got some who are like really, really big deal characters, and you get a lot of emotional investment with the characters, a lot of emotional character development and stuff, which was completely absent throughout most of Lock, Stock and Snatch. So, I mean, it feels to me that they were the same length of film as City of God.
And it's the same how...
So they could have done it, but they didn't.
It's the same how, like... the story, when we were explaining the story of Snatch or the story of Lock, Stock, they're quite straightforward. It's like in this one as well, it's like a kid goes to become a big gangster, and another one alongside him becomes a photographer, basically.
Yeah.
Like, and it's the story of like that. And these films are just like multiple people's perspectives put together to tell a story. I just think sometimes it can be done so well.
Yeah. Absolutely. For the genitalia tab, there were
Sorry?
for
the genitalia tab.
Sorry, you don't know about this. The genitalia tab is something that I started doing right at the beginning of the show. when we first started doing it, where I just make a tally of the different genitalia that there are in films, so that by the end of it, I can say, first of all, this is how many tits, dicks, vag, and balls that there are in different films.
This has nothing to do with like a love for genitalia. It's merely a love for data.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. But so you did this from the first film?
Yeah.
What was the first film you did that inspired you to do this then?
Blade Runner. And there were, I think there might have been 3 tits.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. It was because it was like
3 tits.
you only saw like one of the others. So it was like, we need to keep a tally of things like this.
Yeah. So when I count the tits, for example,
It's by tit.
it's by tits because you might only ever see one tit.
Yeah.
What about balls though?
Equally. So for example, if I see both balls, then I'm going to count 2 balls as opposed to a pair because you might only see one.
I mean, how would you know?
Well, you see both of them.
Kieran has an eye for these kind of things.
I pause and rewind.
We don't know how he does it. He just
I
does.
see them. For example, there's been a time where it's like, oh, okay, I know that there's well, I mean, obviously there's vag everywhere, but like I know there's vag there. So, but for example, like in Life of Brian, she's naked, but there's just loads of bush, right? Because you don't see vag, you just see bush. And I was like, Jordan, does that count as vag? And you're like, no, you don't see vag, you just see bush.
Yeah.
So that doesn't count as vag.
Because it's not, is it?
It's not. So therefore, I can't infer both balls when I just see one of them, or I just kind of see a snippet of one. No, I have to see both of them. It has to be clear.
A snippet. Well, I mean, circumcisions come into a whole different part of the.
Also, with tits, I have to see nipple for it to be tit.
Yeah.
Because again, then I can just count all of the tits.
I just did a really creepy like male. Yeah. I need to see the nipple. Yeah.
Right. So in this
Hit us with the tab.
In this film, there were 5 tits and 2 dicks.
Okay.
So
Was there a second dick?
There was one dick when in the motel,
Yeah.
and there was one dick when was it Knockout Ned or
I don't know if there was actual genitalia on show.
no? I think there was no
Because it's so Georgie, you'd think they wouldn't be.
No, I don't. Yeah, I think
broadcasting
so.
him.
I think you're right.
He might have a dick double though. That's the thing. People do that.
Yeah. No, I know.
Dick doubles.
It's just a funny. It's just too funny.
It
Words,
sounds like a
isn't
position.
Yeah. Double dick is a different thing, though.
That is a different thing. Yeah.
It was kind of hard to count the tits because there were just so many all in one go, like with quick cuts and everything. So like, I had to do a lot of pausing to be like, am I seeing nipple or am I just seeing side boob? Like, it was just
Get the magnifying glass out.
yeah, just like you know when you press like the right key, the right
Print
arrow.
screen, enhance, enhance.
enhance. Yeah. Well, I think 5 is accurate. There we go.
Okay. Have you got any more beefs? Bits and bobs, sorry.
Yeah, when Shaggy is getting shot, when he's pushing a car and then he gets shot, there's a bassoon solo. Do you hear the bassoon solo?
When Shaggy gets shot?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Like, and it doesn't. Okay, I was thinking, like, is this? Is this another Brazilian instrument that I don't know about? I mean, I'm quite sure I've got a decent hold on what most Brazilian instruments, at the very least, sound like. I have not ever heard an instrument to me that sounds like a bassoon that is specifically Brazilian. It's just a bassoon solo. And I was just like, hold on. It was accurate. It was fine. It was appropriate. It felt okay. But then halfway through, I was like, it's weird that this is a bassoon solo. I would never have thought to have scored a bassoon solo when someone is getting shot by the police.
Well, sometimes you have to think outside the box. Maybe that's why this is 21, you know? I'm just imagining the director, like when they're doing the previews and like everyone's sitting there, he's like sitting next to some really influential people and they're going through, it's like, yeah, just wait till you see there's a bassoon solo. We are really testing new grounds.
Do you reckon that's part of the pitch? It's like, guys, I've got this great new film. It's based on a true story about a thing in the favela. Someone gets shot and there's a bassoon solo that sings, sold.
Did he say bassoon solo?
I reckon a star. So, in the 70s, you got a bunch of different crowds, and we see these different crowds when it's Benny's leaving party, because Rocket's like, oh yeah, he managed to bring all the crowds together to celebrate his his leaving. You got the soul crowd, the religious crowd, samba crowd, and the groovy crowd.
Yeah.
And so, which crowd would you be part of?
I would clearly be part of the groovy crowd. The groovy crowd.
I was thinking so
Yeah.
too. All the James Brown stuff. So not the soul stuff. Well, because I heard in Portuguese they were like black, because it sounded to me like.
What do you mean?
Because when I was reading the translation,
Right.
hearing him just say the word black in a Portuguese accent, but the translation was soul.
Oh yeah.
So what's
There's
going on there?
there's the Banda Black e Rio, and it's like the Black Rio band, but it's like it's a soul band. Like I haven't come across that word too much, but it seems like it's a word for soul music.
There was a point as well where someone was asking someone what kind of music they like, and it was like R&B or soul, and when they said soul, they said black.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's a little bit weird that, I mean, I kind of feel a little bit strange just
I would be
just
torn,
referring
though.
to soul as black.
I would be torn
So
between
would you-
soul and groovy.
There was a definite distinction. It was like Motown or funky James Brown stuff.
I don't really like Motown, so I guess in terms of soul, I like sort of 80s Luther Vandross type stuff, but not necessarily Motown. So I'd probably be more funky James Brown.
Okay. Which one would you go for, Jess?
I mean, I guess I have to be in the samba crowd. Really, I can't deny my
Allegiance?
my
Swear
life.
allegiance to
To the samba.
the samba.
I think I would be in the groovy crowd as well, but with significantly less coke. I therefore think, would I be allowed in the groovy crowd with?
Were they all
no
taking coke in the groovy crowd?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, man. Because that's what Thiago was doing. He was like, "Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
man."
Tiago looks fucking
Jeez.
wasted.
He wasn't so good by the end of that.
Yeah.
No, he was just destroyed. Yeah, he was just getting mashed up by coke. So I think I would be part of the groovy crowd for the music thing. I also really, really like Motown as well. I know that I definitely wouldn't be part of the religious crowd, and also I'm really into samba. So I'm gonna say groovy, but with no coke.
Okay, I'll take.
I like the
groovy
idea that
side
I'd
with
be
no coke, please.
I'd be Benny. I'd be the guy that's uniting all the crowds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. I could see you.
I
Being
did
better.
really dig Benny's hair when he had it like highlighted, so he had like a sort of blonde afro thing going on.
Do you think I can get away with that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that could work with you. That could work with you, Shav.
All right,
You
blonde
just need like
highlights coming
the
next week.
floral
Yeah.
t-shirt, the floral shirt, and yeah,
So next week.
and
Next
drugs.
week, full on Benet impression.
Okay, cool, nice.
Do I have to wear the shorts? It's gonna be really cold.
Well, it's getting a little bit sunnier.
Yeah.
I think you can do with shorts. Did you notice that when a stressful situation came in, they would just chuck in some fast samba, being like, "Oh, emergency stress samba." Oh my god, someone's about to get killed. I thought like,
Which was every 5 minutes. In
well,
this film.
yeah. So like, what style of music would you want to put into your life to like accompany a stressful situation? First of all, what stressful situation would it be, and what style of music do you think would accurately accompany that stressful thing?
I've always wished that I could, on cue, have the theme from Shaft play whenever, like, I was just in any situation with the hi-hats. Wow, 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 boom.
For me, that would be like
Boom.
that would be you walking into the office.
Yes, it works in so many situations. Like even like going to the bathroom. Literally, it just makes everything that you're about to do seem like you're gonna do it really coolly.
But you just okay. Can you? All right. Can you sing it and then you sing it? Go. Walks in, takes off his shades, but then you just sit at your desk and everything stops. Hi guys, right? And then you just start working, just to start tapping away. That's what it
Everyone's
looks
just be
like.
like, "How do you do that?
Well, you know.
Stop!" Every fucking morning.
And then you just look over, put your shades back on.
Or what? This?
Maybe it works with the shades. Every time you put your shades back on, it just says back on again. So does that mean you're going to the toilet with your shades on as well?
No, you know what? I actually really want to get some. Like, I'm gonna find some sunglasses and
Put a little speaker in it.
Yeah,
or
a little
something.
speaker and a button or something. So when I put them on, I just press it and it'd be like.
That would be so cool. Okay, all right.
I like the fact that whenever I got stressed, just like Enya would play, and it might
What soothe this?
might really de-stress me. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know
Okay.
any Enya songs. I only know Enya because of Alan Partridge.
Me too. I just know that she just goes. "Ooh." Is that an accurate impression of Enya?
I don't know much about Enya.
She
goes, sail away, sail away, sail away. Was that her?
Sure, why not? I don't know.
You know, so it's pretty relaxing.
So you
pretty-
just
pretty
kind of want to
relaxing
sail
tune.
away when you're getting stressed. Is
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I just want Enya in my ear, just like.
Enya in your ear.
In
That sounds like a podcast
in year.
title.
in year.
Hello and welcome to Enya in Your Ear.
I'd probably have like all right. When I was in secondary school and I would cycle to school, I worked out that there was like the first song on the Prodigy's album, "Take Me to the Hospital." I think that was the name of of the album. And there was even a certain amount of time that I had these sunglasses that were like a bug eye coloured sunglasses.
Oh no!
And I wore them for like the whole of the summer, and I still wore them throughout the autumn as well.
Oh,
and my
dear.
excuse was like, yeah, it helps the wind get out of my eyes. But it actually didn't work at all. I think it made it worse because I was cycling at such intense speeds that like the wind was going. It was creating some kind of a fucking wind tunnel. Like it was making my eyes even drier.
Okay.
It just wasn't working. I just wanted to wear sunglasses, and then the whole world was like green because of these fucking bug eye lenses.
Yeah.
Woo.
Can I change my music?
Yeah, go on.
So I just remembered that in December I went to the States and I stayed in a hostel in Philadelphia. And I checked in. They were like, "Oh, you're going to be staying on the 4th floor," and I'm there with like a big case. And I was like, "Well, hopefully you got a lift then." They went, "No, we don't have a lift."
Oh, fuck. Okay.
But then you leave. This is Philadelphia, of course. So you open the doors to the stairs, and then the little, corridor that the stairs are in, whatever you call it, stairwell. They're just blasting out the Rocky theme to make you feel better about the fact that you've got to climb 4 flights of stairs with your case. And then every time you go up and down, it's like knackering because it's just a lot of stairs, to do at a time, especially when you come back at 3 a.m. or something. Yeah. But so actually, I'd like every time I climb stairs, the Rocky theme to play.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Especially when, like, in like a pub, they're like, mind the step. There's only one step. And you just like step up and it goes, just stop. And then it's just something like, what's going on? You're like, you go back down, nothing happens. You're like, what?
So, okay, what about when you're on an escalator? How does that work?
I imagine it would just be really confused.
Yeah, it would kind of like it would like start freaking out, like digital freak out kind of. And then you do like one step at the end, like the tiny one that takes you just up onto the ground again from the escalator.
Or what if you're in a lift? Like, is it the theme but like sped up?
Only if you're walking in place while you.
It just transfers onto like vibes and takes a jazz lounge.
Yeah. Lovely.
I like the idea that you'd step up onto like a bar stool or something where it's like, you got the little thing to put your feet on, so you do kind of step up, but it's not a step. And it would like there'd be someone going, "Are we supposed? But I don't know if we're supposed to do that, but we do."
I give you 6 months before you kill yourself. Like, at least with my shaft one, I could actually intentionally turn it on and off. But if you're literally every time you elevate yourself in any way, you start hearing.
What if you get up from bed? How does that count? You take a step down, but your head goes up.
It just starts playing in reverse.
Or what if you're exercising and you're doing the whole like step up, step down thing?
Oh god!
Does it play like replay or does it like go in reverse? Is that what happens? Okay, I think we've stretched this out.
Okay, moving swiftly on.
Now, Jordan, if you were to be
So
you've not prepared anything for this, so this is going to be a bit.
Oh man, like I thought I was just coming to talk to you guys, and I've turned up, and you guys have got like extensive notes written out. So
It's fine.
I'm
This
feeling
is
extremely
like-
unprepared.
This
here.
is the case with all of our guests. We don't tell them anything, and then
That's cool. I'm gonna
then
whatever
make
you
them
got
work
written
on the
down.
spot.
I'm gonna ad lib some of the same stuff.
Cool.
It's gonna be
So
fine.
this is a section where basically we have two parts to it. One is where we pick someone in the film that we'd want to be to change the outcome of the film, or
Okay.
just to sort of change an element of the film. And
Or
then
you can do what Jordan does, where it's just like, oh, I'd like to be them because that'd be cool. You do that.
I do that sometimes, yeah, but so do you. Don't drag my name through the mud.
Okay.
And then the other one is where we bring someone from. So it can be literally. I think it could either be like a fictional character or a
prop.
real person, or basically bring something into the film that will change some aspect of the film or change the outcome of the film.
Okay.
Or something that would just be funny. Yeah, that's fine as well.
Yeah, that's fine also.
So who I would be
Yeah.
would be Benny and stop fucking with people way earlier. So like it feels to me like he spends such a long time in the city of God when he knows that that's not his vibe.
Yeah.
I just find it weird that like like he develops and he eventually becomes less and less into the gang stuff. But as soon as he clocks that Little Zay is like mental, how are you just mates with a psychopath like that? How are you just
but he
buddies
was
with someone
mental
like that?
from like the age of 6. So and they were friends then. So
How are you
does he
cool
just
with
not
that?
grow
Like,
up with him?
How is that okay?
But everyone seems to be a little bit mental in this place. Like all those kids that are killing people. Yeah, maybe he was one of the first, but there's definitely a lot of children shooting other kids in this. So
It's man, like it just blows my.
But you're right, Benny's a good guy. He shouldn't be around that.
Yeah.
So I'd be Zay and kill Carrot originally instead of not killing him because of Benny. Because at this point, like, he's gone round and literally killed every single gang. He's like dominated the market except from one. Like, you've gone that far. Like, you might as well.
Benny's more important to him than getting rid of Carrot.
But like, I just like, how much of a friend is Carrot to Benny? And like, if we're talking about, you've managed to do something pretty incredible, taking over the entire city of God, like, and running all of that shit, and you've just left one person who is gonna want to like retaliate, or like, you know, like, you've just left one variable that it could go unchecked, and like it leads to this massive war. Like, that wouldn't happen if, like, and all of those people wouldn't die if he'd have killed that one guy at the start. I mean, I'm sort of justifying murder with murder, but like,
I don't know, because if you kill Carrot, do you not have to also say something to Benny? Like, he's as if Benny's going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Because,
well, maybe Benny will be upset, but Benny will probably get over it
and still leave anyway.
Yeah, exactly. He was going to leave anyway, so
okay, maybe.
You know.
Is there anything that you want to add in here?
Yeah, I guess I'd be the Brazilian president at the time of
right
the abolition of slavery,
Yeah.
and I'd redistribute wealth a bit better, and maybe, you know, help out former slaves and not end up in a situation where favelas exist.
Okay, see, so
that would be my solution
to
to,
actually
you
fix
know,
the film.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
insightful. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, we should probably think a bit bigger when we're doing our bees.
So I bring Bricktop from Snatch.
Nice.
Because I want to just introduce some Cockney into this film, see what happens, mix it up a bit, just add like a strange area. So I just want to see. I'm allowing him to come over with all of his
Posse.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously he's got connections and things like that. So if you take him away from that, he's not as strong. So I don't know if I can have like somehow he's able to maintain the same level of, because he's only a force to be reckoned with because of all of the power that he commands, and he commands that power because of the people he knows and the people that owe him and all of this.
Yeah, he's
So
not
I
just
can't
commanding
just
people.
if I just
in Rio.
take him out of England and plop him into Rio, he's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So I want to bring him and still somehow, through the magic of this segment, just have him still have that sort of command, that kind of power, and maybe just swap him out for Carrot or something like that and see how that works. Because it'd just be interesting to have that aspect going on as well, seeing how the two different mindsets maybe tackle each other. Because I don't think he came up against kids with guns as much.
I would bring in Nick the Greek from Lock, Stock.
Okay. All right.
Nick the Greek is the person who fixes all of the. He doesn't fix, as in he arranges like the guns and stuff
Yeah.
in Lock, Stock, and he's fucking rubbish compared to some of these guys.
So
He needs to learn
So you're just bringing in like an incompetent person to get his skills up?
to do an internship, yeah, with the people who do the guns and
So
stuff.
you're changing the outcome of Lockstock by having him come to this to learn how to sell guns properly.
I'm
This is like some meta.
Well, I'm changing the outcome of this film by having an English, like having a gringo in there, because I think it would either raise tensions or it would reduce tensions, because it's like, oh, we've got to just chill out for the gringo because he doesn't understand any of our lingo, and so the gringo doesn't get the lingo. Like that's so. For example, when the person comes in to sell the guns and stuff, he's like an extra pair of hands on deck, and he can just be nice. He can just be making a cup of tea, like, hey, you guys, just like, you know, I'm just here assisting. I'm just being an intern.
Okay.
So is there anything that you need just to make your life a little bit more chill? I can roll your joint for you if you like, and just to kind of make it a little bit smoother, make little Zay a little bit more, you know, relaxed when he's buying his guns, instead of making like you know, making the guy who's selling the guns like shit himself and run away. I feel like you're not accepting of me bringing Nick the Greek in. Like,
I feel
what's
like
your trouble with
it
this?
doesn't necessarily need to be Nick the Greek. You're just bringing an intern in.
Sure, I'm bringing an intern in, but it's funny it being Nick the Greek because he's so incompetent.
Right.
So I'm fine. I'm introducing humour into the film. It's because the guy, we only saw him really deal like 3 guns, and he's going to see this and he's going to be like, fucking hell. Maybe he could bring over the really fancy shotguns.
Yeah.
Maybe he could bring over the fancy shotguns, and those are the guns that, I don't know, kills Lil Zay or something. I don't know.
Sounds good.
Yeah? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Would you bring anyone in, Shav?
I'd bring in Captain America.
Okay.
Because like
All right.
he would be. There's no way that Captain America would be able to live in the City of God without trying to sort it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it would definitely unite all of the drug gangs as like a common enemy. We're like, this American coming over here thinking he can sort out City of God.
Definitely.
They would just all go for him. They probably wouldn't manage to kill him very quickly because he's pretty good.
He's
So like, I feel like
He's pretty
I feel like
good.
long term that would kind of solve the problem where just everyone would hate Captain America together.
Yeah.
And no one would be shooting at each other. They'd all be shooting at him and being pretty unsuccessful.
That's true, yeah. Unify under a common enemy. Yeah.
Do you think
Checks out.
like so Captain America is the one with the shield? I think
Yeah.
he like throws the shield around. I think it'd be quite hard to do that in the favelas because it's so compact and dense.
It's got so many areas to like bounce off of.
Reflective
Yeah,
surfaces.
he's like
and
Ricochet Central.
fucking pisses me off that Captain America can work out the geometry of every single thing before he throws his shield. Like,
you
what
know,
the fuck?
I don't know.
That's not
because
real.
he's been given like superhuman serum. Does that mean that his like distance judging is also improved or something? You know, like his
Bollocks.
depth perception and all of that.
I like the way that the shield doesn't break anything, except for when he wants it to. Like, you know, if he throws it at something, he throws it at a wall, and it bounces off the wall, and the wall is undamaged. Like, really, the shield should just go straight through that wall.
Yeah.
And just like be lying in the water somewhere because it's just gone straight through all the buildings and it's just lying on the floor.
It's definitely a scientific anomaly.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense. Now, Jordan, would you stay indoors to watch City of God?
Yeah, absolutely. I wish someone had, like, even though I'd seen it before, I kind of forgotten, and I wish someone had just prepared me a little bit for the amount of like just
Child killing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, but yeah, definitely worth watching.
Shav?
You? Or
Yeah,
Shotgun?
definitely. I mean, last time I watched this, I was living in Rio, and then I don't think I went outside for a couple of days
Yeah, that would
after
that
that.
would scare me.
It was a much nicer experience watching it this time
From the safety.
from the safety of London. But yeah, great film, loved it.
I would also stay indoors to watch this film. It was just brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was just really, really good.
just really well put together.
Yeah, like cinematically, as if I know anything about cinema or film. Like I can tell that there were things going on. And I was like, okay, I think film and movie buffs are really enjoying the different elements going on here. But also, the story itself was just fantastic. It was so well told. I also like how it wasn't all about the main character. It
Didn't really feel like there was a main character. It was sort of people sharing the spotlight.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, so awesome.
Oh, sorry, Jez, is there anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I got a couple of albums out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where can you find them?
check out alvoradamusic.com. That's ALVORADA.
Nice.
Yeah, got the spelling right. alvoradamusic.com. We've got a new album out that's actually being released on the 1st of May, but you can pre-order now.
What style of music is that?
That's choro, which is from Brazil. It's like an instrumental style of music that's very interactive. Has clarinet, flute, percussion, cavaquinho, and 7-string guitar.
It's really, really cool. I really dig the album.
Nice. Is
Kieran's
it
got a
good?
pre-release copy.
Hey.
Is it good? The album?
It's crap.
Oh, okay.
No, it's honestly no. To really big up Jez's plug, it's a really good album. I really like it. And what's the other one?
Also, Samba Azul, another album which is now out. SAMBAAZUL, Samba Azul, which you can find if you Google it. It's on Bandcamp and things. I don't know if we have a website.
The style of music there is samba.
Oh,
But actually, it's more MPB.
Oh, okay.
of course.
So that's
Naturally.
that's what does MPB stand for again?
Música
Miles per
Popular
minute.
Brasileira.
Wait, what do you say? what? Okay, Jordan, what did you say?
Miles per minute.
No. Okay.
Meats per minute would kind of work.
Not bad. Shav, what does it stand for?
Música popular brasileira. It's like Brazilian popular music, literally translated. But so it's like it's an evolution of samba. It's like when samba was introduced to some jazz and rock influences.
Next gen samba.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Thank you very much for joining us on the show this week, Shav. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
And make sure you tune in for next week when we will be watching. Shav's going to be there too.
Bye.
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 Hello there. You can send your 15-second pitch, which is probably going to be a correction of whatever bullshit I said earlier this episode. You can just do a little cheeky voice memo and send it in an email to 250reasons@gmail.com. And I think that is probably about it. You can also send a tweet or something on Instagram or Facebook at 250reasons. You can check us out on whatever podcatcher you're listening to right now. Just press that button, subscribe, and leave a glowing 5-star review. We'll read it out on the show. Just get in touch. We'll probably say your name and whatever. I don't know if you get a buzz off that.
Even if it doesn't glow, just a 5-star review. That's fine.
Like literally, it could be so dull, but so long as it's 5 stars, it pretty much just fulfills the quota that we'd like. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.